Okay, 9.3, histograms and box plots. So again, we're going to be using your calculator quite a bit for this, but some of this lesson is about being able to read histograms and or box plots. So again, you'll want to have your calculator, and I'll try to walk you through the steps for that, but also show you how to read these. So let's go ahead and go to our first example. So let's take your term, problem number 4 here. It says, listed are the heights of players in inches on a basketball team. Create a frequency table from the data, then use the frequency table to create a histogram. Okay, so when you look at this, frequency tables are how many times something occurs, and then a histogram puts them in groupings. So when you're looking at this, and for your particular homework, you'll just be analyzing and looking at them, but I will show you how to do them on a calculator as well. You want to put them in groups. So if we look at this example down here, these are in groups of 9 for the ages. Frequency is how many times something occurs, okay? And again, they're going by 5s here. So in this particular case, you're going from a minimum of 63 all the way up to a maximum, I believe, is 79. So what you want to do is you want to put those in groupings. So like you might go from 63 to 66 as your grouping. That would be down here. And then you want to look for the frequency of numbers that occur in that range. So in this case, we've got what? You've got a 63, and then something between that. We got a 65. And then I think, is that it? That's it. So between 63 and 66, we have 2 values that occur in that. So we would mark that at 2. So in creating this histogram, what you would probably want to do as far as your frequency goes, you would probably want to go by ones. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6, and then do your groupings, which we had here would be like 63 to 66, and then you would make that go to 2 and then box that in, okay? So ever how you want to set it up is fine. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to read those. Sorry, I missed one here. So down here at the bottom, your term, problem number 5, it says the histogram shows the length and days of Maria's last vacations. Estimate the mean of the data set displayed in the histogram. Okay, now to get mean from a histogram is a little bit more difficult. Okay, so what you want to do is first you want to average the interval. Okay, so what's that mean? The interval here is from 4 to 6. So what I want to do is I want to get the average of that. Well, that one's pretty easy. That's going to be 5. Now, some intervals will be different. Okay, they'll be bigger or whatever. And so all you do to get average again is you add, then divide. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take that number and multiply by the number of times it occurs, or the frequency. In this case, that is 5. So you'd multiply that by 5. So you end up getting 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay. So that's the total for that group, 25. Okay, if I do the next one, and I'll do this in a different color, that's going to be 8. And this one occurs 4 times. 8 times 4 is 32. Do the next one, 10 and 12, that would be 11. That one occurs 4 times as well. 11 times 4 is 44. And then the last one, that would be 14 is the average. That one occurs 2 times. 14 times 2 is 28. Now what you do is you take all those totals, 25, 32, 44, and 28. You're going to add those. But then what you have to do is you have to divide by the total number of things that occurred. So what that means is you got to go to each frequency. So that was 5 plus, and then we had 4 in the next range, plus, and then we had 4 more in the next range group, plus, and then in the last range group we had 2 frequencies. So I'm using these numbers over here. So the frequencies go down here, the total values go here, which again are the averages. So you're just going to total all that up, do that on your calculator, type all those numbers in. Okay, and then you're going to divide it all out, and you get approximately 8.6, and this would be days. So a little more difficult on a histogram, just because you don't have exact values to do. Okay, next we're going to look at some box plots, and again, how to interpret, so how to create one on your calculator. So that's where I'm going to start with first, okay? It says use the data to make a box plot. So let me shrink it down again. I want to write over this so I can have room to write the steps as far as on your calculator. So you probably want to copy these down again like we have in the previous lessons, just to make quick reference on how to do it on the calculator. And I'm just going to do problem number 8 here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in my list on the calculator. Now, one of the first things you'll probably want to do is reset your calculator just to get rid of everything. Okay, so how do I put a list in? First, you go to Stat. Okay, so again, I'm going to write this down, Stat. And then you're going to choose Edit and press Enter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put that in L1. So we're going to type those in. So 25, 28, 26, 16, 18, 15, 25, 28, 26, 16. All right, so I've got my list typed in. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to actually, if you want to, you can put them in order again. So the way we do that is, again, we're going to press second stat button. That brings us to our list. Then we're going to go to OPS, operations, and we're going to do number 1, which is sort A. So I'm going to press enter, and then I got to go back to my list. So the way I pick my list is I go to second stat again, and I'm going to pick number 1, which is L1. Press enter. So now what that's going to do is that's now going to put L1 right here. Close my parentheses, press enter, and then it'll say done, and now it's sorted in my list. And you can review that by going back to stat, edit, and it should have them in order. Now, what we want to do next is to create a box plot. We can actually do this on the calculator. So the way to do this on the calculator, you want to press second y equals. So second and y equals button. And we're going to press enter for number 1. And what we want to do is we want to turn our plot on. So we're going to do, we're going to do on. So put your cursor on, and then press enter. So that's going to turn our plot on. Now under type, we want to go to the 5th one in the group. Okay, so it looks like this on your calculator. So again, put your cursor there and press enter to lock that in. And then it changes it to XList for L1, which is where we put it in. Now, the other thing we have to do is we have to create our window to be able to view it. So the next thing we want to do is go to Window. So we're going to press our Window button. And we want our X-mins to fit what is up here in our value. So we go from 15 all the way up to 28. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set X-min to be 10. And I'm going to set X-max to be 30. That's going to get me beyond my X values. And then I would just keep it by ones for my scale. Now for Y-min, I'm going to press 0, and Y max, I'm going to do 2. Because anytime you're doing a single list viewing window, you don't need 0, -10 to 10 or anything like that. You just need a small amount. So then after that, we are going to press graph. So we're going to press the graph button. And now you should see your box plot. Now, what's great about this is now we can actually identify values from it, okay? So if we go back up here, it just wants us to create it, but we can actually interpret values from it. So if you press the trace button on your calculator, it takes your cursor up there, and the first place it takes you is MED, or median. And for this particular one, that's 25. If you go to the right, it gives you Q3 is 26. That's your third quartile. If you go all the way to the right again, it's going to give you your max X, which was 28. Go to the left, it'll give you your Q1 is 16, and it gives you, go to the far left, and it goes and gives you your min X of 15. So from that, again, we could find our IQR here by subtracting those. So my IQR here would be 10 interquartile range. We could find just my range by selecting or subtracting these. 28 minus 15 is 13. So the range here is 13. So it gives you a lot of information from the box plot itself. So that's how you can interpret some of that stuff from the actual graph. So we're going to look at one more problem here. I'm going to come down here. It says construct 2 box plots, one for each data set. Compare the medians and measures of variation for each distribution. Okay, so you're going to go through the same exact process as what we just did. The only difference is you're going to have 2 lists now. Okay, so you're going to have an L1 here and then an L2 here. So when you go to plot, you got to turn 2 plots on. Plot 1 will be your L1, plot 2 will be your L2, and then you can graph and can compare those and look at them simultaneously, one over top of the other. Again, you can trace and find values and compare those values between them. So when it says compare the medians, you would be able to look at the medians for each and compare those, as well as the interquartile range and that sort of thing. And that's what that means by the measures of variation. You know, what's the difference in those for each distribution. So it's really just kind of doing 2 problems at once, or at one time. So hopefully this helps you. Hopefully we can interpret and read these and be able to answer some questions for the homework.